Okay, let's get started. How's everybody? Good. End of week 11. We're getting there. Just 3 weeks to go. Next week is the last week that we're going to have something new to talk about. Then the following one, you're going to be doing stuff for the test, for the midterm. And then the last one is the project and the presentation. So, again, we're getting there. Okay?
Can it be in one day, like the evaluation for the project and the presentation?
Evaluation for the project. Yes, it will be the very last day, if I'm not mistaken. It will be the due date for the project.
Before the test?
No, actually, the due date for the project is after. Test is in week 13.
Oh.
Yeah, test is week 13. Project is week 14. So test is in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Oh, why? Too early.
The universe is telling me that it's the right timing.
Oh. And it will be on Friday before.
I think it is. It is on Friday. I'll send a reminder announcement, just make sure that we all know. But yeah, okay. Okay. So today, what is it? What is it that we are going to talk about? We're going to talk about deployment today. Today, I'll be demonstrating how you can deploy your MVC application live. How you can have a URL that you can share with people, maybe with a potential employee, maybe during a job interview. So you can add that to your portfolio as well. So finally, you're going to move from having to run your application only on your laptops and your desktops to being able to run it live outside. We're going to be using, for that, we're going to be using Azure. Okay, so that's what I refer to when I say deployment. We are deploying our application live. We're going to expose our application to the rest of the world, not only our laptops. So today, I'll be demonstrating how you can create databases on Azure. That's the first step that you're going to take. We're going to create databases. And after that, we're going to deploy our application. So you're going to have on Azure, you're going to have database, 2 databases for Sports Store, one for identity, another one for product information, and we're going to deploy our MVC application there. Lots of little steps here. Lots of things can go wrong here, as you're going to see. There will be a little bit of waiting when we are asking Azure to create a database. We have to wait until the database gets created. This waiting may vary from a minute up to 5 minutes. Okay? So again, there's always a little bit of waiting. It's not just immediately. Because again, now we're going to be doing things remotely. Okay? With that said, what's your expectation about what you're going to be seeing today? Anything in particular that you'd wish you'd get out of here knowing about? Storing? Yeah, yes, great. So that will be part of it. That's the reason why you're going to be creating the database on Azure. Who knows what Azure is? Anyone? Azure, however you want to pronounce that. It is? A cloud server. Who's behind that? Microsoft is behind that. So first, let's look a little bit into what Azure can do for us. Okay? We're going to start there. What we're going to be talking about is in this last half of chapter 12. Okay? So you can find that there. There are no videos like the previous Sports Store. There are no videos for this. However, you can refer back to the recording of the class that I'm doing today. Okay? You will be doing this on your own for Sports Store, and that will be the last bonus that we're going to have, bonus 10. which is deploying Sports Store live. Okay, we're not going to be doing today. Today I'll be demonstrating. Monday, once we're back, you will have the chance to do that yourselves, and you're going to have the recording already to follow through the recording of this conversation right now. Today, it's just about deploying what you have done. What you have done during the exercise. I'll be providing the source code as well. But again, we're not going to be coding much at all in this class. It's really about configuration, about how do we set things up to be able to deploy live. So let's have a look at Azure. I've chosen a video here to demonstrate that. Let's see if the volume will work.
From Simply Learn, and today we'll be talking about one of the fastest growing and second largest cloud computers.
Is the volume okay? All good? Loud? It's too loud?
No, louder.
Louder?
Platform in the market right now. I'm talking about Microsoft Azure. Now, before we begin, let's talk about what we've done, and today we'll be talking about one of the fastest growing and second largest cloud computing platform in the market right now. I'm talking about Microsoft Azure. Now, before we begin, let's talk about what we'll be covering in this video. First, we'll talk about why you should be interested in cloud computing, what exactly is cloud computing, what is Microsoft Azure, some of its services, and the users of Azure. Now, let's start with why you should be interested in cloud computing. Now, let's say you have an idea for a revolutionary application, an idea that ticks both the boxes when it comes to good applications. One, it has great user experience, and two, it will be highly profitable. Now, for it to be successful, you'll have to release it on the internet. People need to use it, they need to spread the word, and then it will become truly famous. However, for that, you're going to need servers, storage, developers, a dedicated network, and application security to ensure your application works the way it does. Now, these are a lot of components, and that's where the problem lies. There are two major disadvantages to this approach. The initial setup is very expensive and risky, which means this requires a huge amount of capital upfront to ensure that it works properly. And the downside is, if your application does not become famous, or it doesn't return as much as you expect it to, you're probably not going to get the money back, which means it provides a huge amount of risk. And then, on the flip side, if it does become famous, your number of users have increased, which means that you'll have to buy more servers and storage systems to keep up with your demand. And this problem can be solved with the help of cloud computing. Now that you know why you should be interested in cloud computing, let's go into the details of what exactly is cloud computing. Now, cloud computing is basically a platform that gives you access to a number of computing resources. And this is possible with the help of the internet. Now, as a user, all you need to do is go to a cloud service provider through your laptop or your computer, through the internet, of course, connect to that cloud service provider, and then there you go. You have access to computing resources. Now, computing resources may include, serverless computing, virtual machines, storage, and so much more. Now, let's dig a little deeper. Now, basically, these cloud service providers actually have massive data centers. Now, in these data centers, what you have are hundreds of servers. Also included are storage systems and mainly several organizations' critical components. So these are very secure, safe locations where a large amount of data is stored, hence the name data centers. Now, it is to these data centers that users actually connect to collect their data or use it. So actually, users can access any service based on their requirement. Now, like I told you, there's a number of services the user can use. For example, now if you want a notification every time someone sends you a message, or perhaps once you get an email, you need a copy of it created. Now, for all of this, there are services. And most importantly, almost every cloud service provider has this option where users only pay for the service that they use. So there's no charge up front where they tell you that you need to pay X amount of money so that you can use our services. You're only paying for the amount of time that you're using these services. Now, cloud computing is used for a wide variety of reasons. Firstly, there's machine learning and data analysis. Now, basically, there are services that analyze your data and tell you how you can work with this data better. Then there's data storage and backup, streaming media content. For example, did you know that the shows that you watch on Netflix, actually all of them are in the cloud. So you're connected to the internet and you browse through Netflix and you get access to the videos. These are possible with the help of cloud service providers. There's creating and testing applications, automating software delivery, which is a component in DevOps, and hosting blogs and applications. So now, what is Azure? What's the big cloud service provider all about? So Azure is a cloud computing platform provided by Microsoft. Now it's basically an online portal through which you can access and manage resources and services. Now, resources and services are nothing but, you can store your data and you can transform the data using services that Microsoft provides. Again, all you need is the internet and being able to connect to the Azure portal. Then you get access to all of their resources and their services. In case you want to know more about how it's different from its rival, which is AWS, I suggest you click on the top right corner and watch the AWS versus Azure video so that you can clearly tell how both these cloud service providers are different from each other. Now, here are some things that you need to know about Azure. It was launched in February 1st, 2010, which is significantly later than when AWS was launched. It's free to start and has a pay-per-use model, which means, like I said before, you need to pay for the services you use through Azure. And one of the most important selling points is that 80% of Fortune 500 companies use Azure services, which means that most of the bigger companies of the world actually recommend using Azure. And then Azure supports a wide variety of programming languages, the C#, Node.js, Java, and so much more. Another very important selling point of Azure is the amount of data centers it has across the world. Now, it's important for a cloud service provider to have many data centers around the world because it means that they can provide their services to a wider audience. Now, Azure has 42, which is more than any cloud service provider has at the moment. It expects to have 12 more in a period of time, which brings its total number of regions it covers to 54. Now, let's talk about Azure services. Now, Azure services have 18 categories and more than 200 services. So we clearly can't go through all of them. It has services that cover compute, AI and machine learning, integration, management tools, identity, DevOps, web, and so much more. You're going to have a hard time trying to find a domain that Azure doesn't cover. And if it doesn't cover it now, you can be certain they're working on it as we speak. So first, let's start with the compute services. First, virtual machine. With this service, what you're getting to do is to create a virtual machine of Linux or Windows operating system. It's easily configurable. You can add RAM, you can decrease RAM, you can add storage, remove it. All of it is possible in a matter of seconds. Now let's talk about the second service, cloud service. Now with this, you can create an application within the cloud, and all of the work after you deploy it, deploying the application that is taken care of by Azure, which includes provisioning the application, load balancing, ensuring that the application is in good health, and all of the other things are handled by Azure. Next up, let's talk about Service Fabric. Now with Service Fabric, the process of developing a microservice is greatly simplified. So you might be wondering, what exactly is a microservice? Now a microservice is basically an application that consists of smaller applications coupled together. Next up, functions. Now with functions, you can create applications in any programming language that you want. Another very important part is that you don't have to worry about any hardware components. You don't have to worry what RAM you require or how much storage you require. All of that is taken care of by Azure. All you need is to provide the code to Azure and it will execute it and you don't have to worry about anything else. Now let's talk about some networking stuff.
I'm going to leave it at that because you're going to talk about networking aspects of it, which is beyond what we need right now. But this is just to give you an idea of what is Azure and what kind of services they will be providing, and you will be leveraging some of those. You're going to be leveraging database. You're going to be leveraging application hosting. So if we go back here, now we're going to go through what we need to do, what needs to be done to get to host our application there. Well, first one is you have to create an account on Azure. I'm not going to show that because I have already created an account for me. I created an account from scratch. You have two options. You can use your Centennial email and activate your account via your email. You can access the site, you can start there, and you can activate. If you have any problems with your email, maybe create a brand new account. You can create a brand new account from Microsoft by using the outlook.com domain. So you have those two options, a new account or use your Centennial. If you have used Azure in the past and you connect your Centennial, have a look if you still have credits there. You may or may not have credits, but I know that if you create an account from scratch, you're going to have $250 of usage for free in a trial period of, I think it's 30 days. So I'll tell you that it's good enough for the test that we need to do, okay? So again, first you have an account. With the account, then we can log into Azure now. And as I said, I'm not going to walk you through that because it's just creating a regular account as you would create in any website. There is nothing very particular there on how you create an account on Outlook.com or on Azure. But with that account, you can go to portal.azure.com and you can access your Azure account. That's what I'm going to start to do now with my account. Okay. I have a few accounts related to Microsoft, so it's just asking me which one I want to use. I have put together this one here to test this out. And this is the main interface of Azure. Okay? Now, if we have a look, our first step inside Azure will be to create two databases. We're going to create products to store the product information. And we're going to create identity to store what? The login of users, the usernames, passwords, all of that. The same way as we have two databases in our sports store locally, we're going to have two databases in our sports store once deployed to Azure. Okay? As I said, be patient. Things take a while to get done there. So, great database. The interface is a little bit overwhelming with a lot of options, but okay, I need to create two databases. Where do you think that we should go? SQL database, okay? SQL database. So just go there. And you're going to create our database. I have no database right now in my account. I'm going to create a new database. As I'm there, I just hit add. And here, I'm put through a wizard that will ask you several questions. Now, the only place that's at this point that you need to worry about is the first one with a few questions that I'm going to walk you through. But the other ones, just hit next, 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 leave it with default values. But the first one, I'll show you a little bit more here. So it asks for subscription. Well, I'm using my free trial. You're going to have your free trial there as well. So use that one. See, I don't have anything else here. You're going to get that free trial once you sign up for Azure. So you're going to set this up here in the previous step, okay? As you open a new account. With a subscription, the next step is you're going to create a resource group. You may ask, okay, what the hell is a resource group? Well, it's just a way that Azure is able to group resources together that are related to the same, let's say, to the same application. So we're going to create one here. Does need to have any name in particular. You can put any name you want. I'm just going to show you that there's none right now on mine. I'm going to click Create New. And I'm going to say, again, you don't need to put this exact name. You can give the name you want. And I'm going to put the section number here. So sec006. Okay. So we have our resource group. We'll only be doing this for the first database because in the second database, there's resource will already be created. So I will be able to select from the drop-down for the second database. Then what? Then we have database name and server. Server, we don't have a server yet. So that's another thing that we're going to be creating from scratch here. Okay? We have database name. I'm going to give it a name. So let's say the first one I'm going to call products. Okay? In the database, in the server name, I'm going to hit create. Now, when you hit create, it opens up this area on the right-hand side so you can enter the server details. Now, you are setting up your own virtual server here that will have one thing running there, the database, the SQL database, okay? So you're gonna have to set up the name of the server, the login, the password, and the location. Where do you think that this will be used? Where? Where are we gonna be using this information here? In the connection strings. So yes, we're gonna be using this information to set up our live connection strings. Okay? So let's set this up here. Server name has to be unique. So if you try to enter something there, it will tell you, okay, this name is already used, and then you can try something else. You can try something until you get it right. The server name, this is the name that you give, but the server address in the end will be the name you put it here, .database, .windows, .net. That's the entire location, the entire address of the server, okay? So I'm gonna say here, say coder, server, and I'm gonna say, well, it's already okay. Great. If you are by any chance following along, don't create with the same name. In the last section, someone went ahead and created before I created. So mine failed here. So again, if you are creating, set a different name, please. Server admin login, this is the username that you're going to be creating, okay? By the way, I'm going to keep, in a separate file here, I'm going to keep this information. As I go along, I will just save the information. So I'm going to say server, so I can refer back later. Okay. Okay, so this is the entire address of the server. Then we have admin login. I'm going to say locoder user. Okay. Passwords, you can set the password you want. I'm going to use a generator here. So I'm going to copy this, fill passwords. Password has to be complex enough. So keep track of the password in the username. So we have user and we have passwords. So the username is this one here. Okay. Okay, so again, server name, login. This is the login of the administrator. Okay? Passwords and location. Location, my recommendation is choose a location that is close to you, to your users. Okay? Because the closer it is, the faster it will be. Our application is not too demanding, so it won't make too much of a difference. But I've tried before Canada East, but it's not available for my subscription for some reason. And by the way, I'm not an expert in Azure, okay? So don't ask me too much about Azure. I know how to deploy there, but not much beyond that. So I've chosen instead US. There's a Canada Central. You can choose this one. You can choose US East, US East. Any one of those will be fine. So once it's all set, just hit OK. And you have to wait a little. Oh, actually, no. Actually, it went quite fast here. So as we did this, it already set our new server. Perfect. So we have free trial. We have the resource. We have the database name, products, and we have the server as well. And then we just click on, we can just click on review and create. So review plus create, it's showing us a review page. You can just review the information, scroll down, and hit create. Now, this is what takes a little bit of time, okay? It's commissioning the the database, it's commissioned the server, the database, all of those things that we have set up, it's putting together. Your deployment is underway, okay? So we just have to wait. Now, while we wait, we can start to create our second database, okay? It will be doing this behind the scenes. We can close this. Eventually, it will show up. Eventually, when we go to home and click on SQL Server database, eventually it will show up here. But I can keep moving forward. I need to create the second one. So I might as well just go there to create the second database. Now, subscription free trial, resource group, I should have the one that I created initially, so I can just select it. Scroll down, server, let's see if it's here. See, server is not here yet because it's still being commissioned there. So we're going to have to wait a little bit to get it showing up there. So we don't create a new server. I mean, don't create two servers. Just leave one server there. Okay? In the meantime, okay, will we be using Azure for the final test? No, we're not going to be using Azure for final test. Final test is a multiple choice test with 2 coding-related questions. That's it. So there is no project to be uploaded for the final test. Okay? And it will, yep.
How many databases can you have in one server?
There is no hard number like that. It's really all about the amount of data, storage, the amount of traffic. If you have a huge application, you may want to distribute that through different servers. It's really about how powerful is the server as well. That will play part on that. Okay. Any other question? Yep.
You said there's only multiple choice, there's no coding allowed.
There are 2 questions that are coding related. You don't have to code a lot for them. You don't even. I don't think that you even need to open Visual Studio. It's more of a, I think it's more of a logic type of thing. What's that? It will be multiple choice in Centennial. Yes, it will be a multiple choice within Centennial. Okay, so and it's in 2 weeks, not next week, the week after. So again, the final test is not in the last week. It's in the week is on week 13. Final week is our project and the project presentation. Okay. What is that? The test? Yeah. I'm quite sure it's the Friday. So in exact 2 weeks. Okay. I'm quite sure. I'll have a look, but I'm quite sure it's on the 6th. Okay, let's see if we have our database there, our server. Okay, I'm going to refresh this view. Okay, so we have it. Here is actually, yeah. Here's our server. I'm going to name the second database as identity. And I'm going to hit review and create. So just review, hit create. Again, it will start to deploy a second database. If I can go back to home, I can go to SQL databases. And, well, I was expecting to see product already here, products, but it's not commissioned yet. So we have to wait a little bit more. Resource groups. Sometimes it takes more time, sometimes it takes less time. But then I will already start to talk about some other things here as we wait for this. Okay, so here's the thing with our network here in Centennial. You won't be able to go through the database table creation part, which we're going to be talking about next. Because the wireless network doesn't allow for that. the wireless network has a port closed that we cannot get through Azure. However, you can do the database setup if you use the local workstations, okay? The alternative, if you want to use your laptop, is to use your data plan. I'm going to use my data plan to do that. But again, you have the workstations of the college to be able to perform the step that I'll be showing next. Or if you do this from home, you will not have any problems, okay? But again, if you try to do this via the wireless network with your laptops, you won't be able to do that. You won't be able to do the database part. It's just the database part, okay? Let's see if our database are created here. Okay, perfect. So now we have both. Both are showing. See? We have identity and we have products there. Great. Now what? Now, this is related to the fact that the wireless network doesn't allow you to do that. We're going to be opening the firewall. Who can tell me what is a firewall? And don't tell me that is a wall on fire, because that's what a student told me in the other section. Try this.
It's something like for security, like it blocks some of the websites or something.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. It's a security system that blocks communication from outside to inside, from inside to outside. It blocks mostly port numbers. There's one particular port number that is used by SQL. I think it's port number, I'll see in a second, 1432 or something like that. But as that, the wireless network is, you know that? 33. Okay, so port number 1433 is the one used to communicate with SQL. However, again, the wireless network here on Centennial blocks that port. The wired network does not. So the workstations, you're going to be able to do that from the workstations, okay? Now, what is this? Let's go back here. Let's talk about the firewall. So firewall is on the server. We have right now one server and two databases, okay? So if we go to our resources, well, actually, let's go our resources here. Yeah. See, right now, we have two databases and one server, okay? I can go to the server. I just went to home, all resources, and I will go to the server. And under server, I have this option here that says firewall and virtual networks. I'm going to click on show firewall settings. Now, actually, there's nothing set up here yet. The first thing that you're going to do with the firewall is to enable this option here that says allow Azure services and resources to access this server. So what this option is doing is allowing an application that is hosted inside Azure to be able to communicate with the database that we are creating. Remember, we are deploying two databases in our application tool. So our application needs to communicate with the database. So we need to open the firewall for Azure itself to access our databases. So we will need to open this up. That's the first step, okay? The first step under firewall. The second step is now we need to open our virtual server, our virtual SQL server, for communication between my machine and the server. Why we need that? Because I need to run scripts that will create tables on those databases. So my machine needs to communicate directly with that server so I can run scripts to create the tables. Remember that we ran the migration scripts to create the migration, and then we run the update database to create the database and create the tables. So for that to happen on our live database, I need to say, hey, open firewall for me to access the server. And this is where we set this up. Look at this. Client IP address. What do you think this is? The IP address of whom? Of the client. Which clients?
Who is accessing the
In this case, me. Yeah, my computer. Okay, so again, client IP address, it's just telling me that it has detected that this is my IP address. It's just saying, it's just stating that, it's not doing anything. Now, what I can do very easily, I can just click on add client IP, and what it will do is it will open an exception in the firewall that says, let the traffic, the communication from this client to the server come through. I'll authorize that. So I'm going to click there. And what it does, it creates a new line here. The name doesn't matter too much here. It's just a way to identify. I can just rename this, and I can say Centennial. Now, look. It opens a range, start IP, end IP. Because I'm just open for myself, it starts with my IP, it ends with my IP. Okay? And I save this. So, theoretically, now, my laptop could connect to SQL, SQL on Azure. However, as I said, the network here does not allow, the wireless network does not allow traffic from the ports that is required here. So even though I put this exception, but this is done on Azure. It's not done here. So here, there is still a blockage for this port number. So I have to find another way to connect to my server here. And that's where I'm going to use my data plane. I'm going to connect my laptop to my cell phone, so I can go outside of the network and be able to connect with my laptop. Now again, you don't have to use your data plan. You can just use the workstations of Centennial. It works fine from the workstations. Okay? So I only had 10% of charge, so either it will fail or someone I'll borrow someone's charge. It's Samsung. Anyone? Let's try here. 9%. Okay. Any hackers around? Anybody that I need to be afraid of? Okay, awesome. If I can borrow from yours, then we're going to survive a little bit longer. Yep. Come on, you give me hope, and you took it away. Oh, you have something there? Okay. Thanks so much. Thank you. Okay, mine is a very old phone, you know, does not fit. That's fine. I'll just try and see how it goes here.
Not the wireless?
It's
Wireless? Because there is a spot wireless there.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
Oh, no, not wireless.
Oh.
No. It's the old time cell phone. It's good, but old. Huh?
Which version? Because
Because
I have
I don't want to. I don't want to say. It's a Galaxy 6. S6, yes.
You should have it. My Note 5. Note
Right, it should be
5
micro
has it.
USB.
So you might have to take off the case and then put it on, just so there's a close.
Oh, where is it?
Right there.
The things there? No what?
Não é, Carregador sem fio?
Não, não carregador sem fio,
sem
não. Não carrega, não. Acho que não, nunca testei, não.
É, o Galaxy 6 é velho.
É velho pra caramba. Carrega, não.
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 It didn't work?
Wirelessly?
Yeah, you just put it there and it works.
Really?
You might have to take off your case just in
Oh.
case it's a little thick. But
Really?
oh, that charger.
Oh, we have another one? Oh, great. Thank you. That should work. Okay, so we have. Yes, we have connection. Okay, so I'm gonna connect to that. So, does it make sense why I'm having to do this? Anyone is stuck in limbo land, not knowing what's going on? Okay. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this page here. And now we see another IP. Because now the IP is the IP that I'm getting from my connection, my other connection. So I have to add this one here as well. I can add as many rules as I want. I can click again, add client IP. It will create a new rule. I'm just going to rename that. Oops. I'm just going to say cell phone. And I'm going to save this. OK, great. So now I have the connection that I want. I have the exception here. Now I should be able to run my migration scripts from Visual Studio. So let's keep progressing here. Let's keep moving forward. So we did this. We opened the firewall to allow migration scripts to run. Now let's get our connection strings, OK? Let's get them. So we have two databases. We're going to have two connection strings. So let's go to SQL databases. Let's go to the first one, the product one that you have created. We click there, and then there is this option that says connection strings. OK? So you click here, and we're going to copy that connection string, OK? We're going to hit the copy button. I'm going to paste this back here. Remember, connection string, it's one single line. OK, so even though it's showing you multiple lines here, but it's one single line. Don't break the line with connection strings. Two things I need to adjust here. One is the passwords. Look at what the password is showing. Your password, OK? So we have to set the password that we provided, OK? We created the user here. So here's the password. I'm going to use it here. The username is already the user that I have created. Look at here. Second setting that you're going to adjust as well is this one that says multiple active result sets. We're going to set this to true so we allow concurrent connection. OK? So we're going to set this to true. And I'm going to save this. OK, so this is the first connection string. I'm going to get the second one. Very similar to this one, but a different database. So I'm going to go to Identity, the second database, and I'm going to click on Show Connection Strings. I'm going to select here. I'm going to click the Copy button. I'm going to go back there. I'm going to paste the second one. Just to keep track of them, I'm saving in a separate file. I'm going to change the password again to the password of the same user. And I'm going to change also this setting here from false to true. OK, so now what is it that we're going to do with this connection string? We have to let me see here. Yeah. Well, actually, we're going to go back there in a second. But just a quick recap. What do we have so far? We have the server name, we have the username, the password, the database, the connection string. We have pretty much all the connectivity necessary for application to access that database, okay? Now, let's give it a try. Let's try to access that database. We're going to try to do that from the SQL Server Object Explorer, the option under Visual Studio that I can access the database, okay? So I'm going to go to Visual Studio. And let me see if I have the right solution already here. By the way, I'm using as a basis the source codes that can be found as the last source codes of chapter 12, which is this one here on the Centennial. So if you go to Centennial, okay, content, source codes, chapter 12, the very last one. So I'm using, as an example, this code here, okay? So again, you can use the same. Actually, right now it's hidden. Okay, so it should be visible now. Okay, so I'm back here on Visual Studio. I'm going to connect to that database server, okay? I'm going to go to View, SQL Server Object Explorer, and I'm going to, well, this was another one. I'm just going to disconnect here something first so you don't get confused. So these are my local databases. I'm going to connect another one. So I'm going to go to SQL Server at the very top. I'm going to right-click there, and I'm going to say Add SQL Server. Okay? This Add SQL Server is not creating a new SQL Server. It's just creating a new connection. It's just allowing us to set up a new connection to another SQL Server. Okay? So I'm going to go there, Add SQL Server. And here, we're going to enter the information that we have, the server, the user, the passwords, and we're going to be able to connect. Again, this is where pay very close attention to your connection strings, because that's where things can go wrong. It's when you make a mistake in your connection string, okay? So server name. What is a server name? Well, let's go back to our connection string, and here's the server name. Here is the server name as well, so you don't need the port number. You can just put that server name. So here's the server name. We're going to be using authentication. We're going to be using SQL Server authentication. We have a user and a password. So I'm going to get the username. I'm going to get the password. I'm going to select this option that says remember password, just so every time that I open this up again, I'm not asked again and again for the password. Okay, so I'm going to select that. Under database name, don't select any database from here. Let it open the entire server, and you're going to be able to see both databases. So just try to connect. And here we have. I can see the database here. If I expand databases, give it a second, and now I see identity and I see products. These are not local. These are the ones coming from Azure, okay? I can expand identity. I can expand tables. No tables will show up because we didn't create them yet. We are just accessing them. We're just trying to access the database. As I said, things take a little bit of time, so you're going to see those rounding things there going for a little while. There's nothing under identity. I'm going to do the same thing with products here. So nothing under tables. Under identity, nothing will show up under products under tables, because again, we didn't run the migration scripts yet. Again, this is the type of thing that will not work in the wireless network. It will only work for you in the workstations. or if you use your data plan. Okay, so no tables under tables. We're going to create that. We're going to create the tables next. Let's have 5 minutes. Once you come back, we finish that one.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so I checked online and it says the S6 does have wireless charging built in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good to know. I'm not so behind. I feel better.
The S6 and the Note series are like really high-end phones, so that's why they got those features before like the
Oh, I see. See, at some point in time, that was a high-end phone. 6 years ago, no, 3, 4 years ago.
The Azure account, I used it before, like at the beginning of the semester.
Got it.
So when
So
I
you don't have
to,
free.
it said,
So
yeah, I
create a
have
new
to pay.
account. So create a new account. Create a new Outlook account.
I'm not-
Sign out. Sign out.
But I'm not saying like the sign up. It doesn't give me any.
Go to Azure. Go to Azure. Yeah, go ahead. Yep. Just hit the enter.
It doesn't come like the sign up for free.
Let's have a look. So go to start free. Start free. So use another account. So, one second. Create one. See,
Oh.
that's where you create a new one.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna go through the process. What's up?
Put you in the reference list.
No problem. Yeah, go ahead.
Great, thank you so much.
No problem. If you need any contact detail, let me know.
Probably yes.
Okay, so send me an email. I'll send you the contacts. Okay.
Thank you.
I'll be there in a second. Happily.
So this is the steps that is it the same? So I have to connect the Azure account that I got,
Yes.
and then just I add the what do you call it, the passwords for the database.
Mm-hmm. So you are showing one individual because you have selected the database. When you sign up, you don't need to select the database in the sign up, so you can see both of them at the same time. See, I have only one connection there.
Oh yeah.
But that's okay. I mean, that's not a problem. It's just that you could select. That's okay. That's okay. All right.
So I tried the chapter show, but it doesn't
Remember that there are some computers that have problems that sometimes it doesn't work. So give it a try here. Try one thing here. Close it.
close it.
Yeah, open it from here. So start Go to new project. Let's try to create a new project and see if something shows up there. So create a new ASP, a core application. It's right there. Yep. Not this one, the one above it. Yep. Just leave it like this. It's just a test. Try again, because this error sometimes it comes up. Go again. Okay.
So
okay. Uncheck that. Click OK. Let's see if it shows up there. Okay, so it's okay. It's working fine. So close it. Close this solution. Like File, close solution, close, not exit. Then open the project from here. It will open. It should open. Go ahead. There we go. Okay, let me just run a quick problems.
Ask me for the payments.
Yeah, so I'll talk about it. You have to validate a credit card there. So it will not charge, but you have to validate to be able to use. Okay, Andre. Yep, present. Amal. Abjit. Arika. Chuyong Young. Yep. Curtis. Danish. Diego. Ederson. EJ. Grace. Arbin. Hassan. Jared. Joshua. Jaoris. Ken. Crisel. Yep. Manal. Muhammad Ali. Shibli. Shibli not around. Shibli is around. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Manther. Natalia. Richard. Rong Xiong Yu. Saída. Shaniqua. Vandana. Vladislav. Okay, so let's carry on here. So where are we? So we were able now to connect to those databases. Now we need to set them up on our application. Where are we gonna set those databases on our application? In the startup? In the app settings. In the app settings, okay? Now, here's the thing. We're gonna do something a little bit different. Yes, you could go here, app settings, and you could make the changes, and you could add the new connection strings. However, what if you want to have your source working locally so you can develop, you can code it locally, but then also have another app settings that will store only the live information. So we can do that. We're gonna keep both sets, the dev one and the live one, but to do that, you're gonna create a new app settings with a different name, okay? So you're gonna create, in our project, right click there, go to add, new item, and then from here, go to the web and select app settings. App settings, you're gonna rename this to app settings.production.json. Very important, and I saw a lot of students from other sections misspelling productions, or did something wrong with the name. So again, it has to be very specific like that, okay? App settings dot production dot JSON. And I'm going to add. So we have a second file. I'm going to get rid of what came inside. But now I need to make the second file, the structure, very similar to the first file, to the original one. Also, don't worry if in yours it shows app settings.production underneath app settings, okay? It may show like this, like mine, or it may show this one underneath the first one. Doesn't matter. It's just a visualization thing. So I'm going to go to the first one. I'm going to select everything there. I'm going to copy. I'm going to go to the second one. I'm going to paste there. And now I'm going to change the connection string. I'm going to change this with the live ones. So I stored them right here. This is the first one. For the products, I'm going to store it here. So I'm going to delete the one there, store the new one. Do the same thing for the second one. I'm going to delete from here. I'm going to add the second one. And now we have two app settings. The initial one, the original one, with the development connection. And the second one with the production connections. Okay? Now what? We have the application configured, but now let's create the tables in our both databases. We have now identity and we have products. Let's run the migration scripts on those databases so we can create the necessary tables to populate them and so we can run on our new database. Okay? Any questions as before I progress? Again, we need now to run the migration scripts on both databases to create the tables. Okay? They don't have tables yet. So I'm going to activate the Package Manager console. So I'm going to go to View, Other Windows, Package Manager console. Well, I don't know why it opened up like this. I'm just going to put at the bottom. Now, here's the thing. If I run right now, just copy here something. Here are the two commands that we create the tables. If I run both of them right now, if I say, no, run this one, this creates the first one creates which tables? The products, the orders. So if I run that right now in my Package Manager console, am I going to affect which database? Which database will run this against? It's still a local. Because, yes, we have added this production here. However, nowhere yet we said that, hey, don't use the first one, use the second one. We just created a new file. That's it. Just by doing that, it does mean that this will run in the second file. This will still run in the default app settings. How can we configure the Package Manager console to use the second file instead of the first one? Well, go ahead. This is slightly different. We're not going to be using a startup file for that. We're going to be using, and for now I'm going to get rid of this command here. We're going to be using this command. So we're going to be setting, there is an in-memory variable called ASP.NET Core underscore environment. By default, this variable is empty. So if I say something like this, I'm just going to read from it. I'm not going to set it. I'm just going to read. I'm going to say $env. Well, I'm going to paste it. So $env. Let me see if I can increase the size there. If I say that, and if I hit enter, I will be reading the value of that variable, of this, from the memory. So I'm going to hit enter. Nothing comes up. Because right now, this variable in memory, in the environment, is empty. There's nothing there. Because there's nothing there, when we run the update script, it will load the first app settings. Now, we're going to make a change to this variable. We're going to set it to production. That's why it's important to have the right spelling. See, I just run this command, and I set this in-memory variable to production. What is this in-memory variable? Well, it's just something that Windows use. It's used by Windows. If I try to read it again, now you see it shows production. So this name has to match whatever name you give here in this part of the new app settings. So now, if we try to run the migration scripts, it will run against this one here, the second one. Let it sink. Let it sink. If I misspell here, it won't find, because ASP.NET Core environment is set to production. And production has to match this one here. Now, when I run, and I'm going to do that right away, when I run the migration script, I'm going to go the first one. Now it's running against Azure. It's running against the connection string that is present here in the second file. So look at the script there. It's done. Let's refresh our products database. Refresh tables. Let it load. Yes?
Do we need to run via console? If we just start the application, the migration script will not run automatically?
There's an extra step before we are able to run against that database. The migration script will run automatically for the first database, for product, yes, because of the seed data. That's correct, but not for the second database. The second database, the identity, there's no line there to create the database, the tables automatically for us. It's doing that for the first database, but not for the second one. So I'm just doing it for both of them at the same time here, because it won't hurt if we do both of them, because we're going to need to do that once at least for the identity anyway. Okay? So look, now we have tables there. See? We have product database and we have the tables here. So we really run our scripts against Azure database. Let's do the same thing for the second database. And we're going to run the second script. I'm going to paste, run that. This is another step that if you use the network here, it won't work because it won't be able to connect. Okay? Now I'm going to go to the first database, to the other database. I'm going to refresh. Where's the refresh? And it's loading here. It's just kind of frozen right now. Yep.
So now updating the other database, right?
Yes.
So are you migrating the data inside the local database?
Not the data. No. We are creating the tables and the fields of the tables. The data is not created there because right now, who's creating the data? We have a seed data. Remember that we have seed data for both of them, But seed data only runs when we do what? When we run the application. So we didn't run the application yet. We are just creating the structure of the tables, okay? Not the data yet. So let's refresh tables. Yep.
So where did you get the table name and
Table name?
name?
The names is from the migration scripts. We have used that for our local. We have done that for our local. So this is coming from the context. The context has the names of the tables, products, orders. It's all there. So you see, whoops, not showing everything. I'm going to try to refresh this again because I'm not seeing enough tables here. Okay, so all tables are there, okay? Great, so we run the scripts, we create the tables, the database are up to date. Now we can run the application. Not yet. There is one extra step that we have to do before we are able to run the application, and the application is able to access the Azure databases. We have to change one thing. So we're going to go to the properties of the project. So right click, go to properties, and then go to, what's open here? Then go to debug. Another debug, we have to go, look, we also have the same name of the variable, of the environment variable here as well, but it's set to deployment. Again, this happens when we run the application. Right now, for us to access these connection strings for the application, we did that a second ago for package manager to create the tables. But that does not apply to the application. To apply to the application, we have to go here, to come here to debug, and change from development to production. Again, important to have the spelling right, because this has to match whatever is found here. So by doing this, when I run the application right now, it will create data in our live tables for identity, for products. Okay? If I have a look at our live tables right now, for instance, for products, if I click View Data, there will be no data there because we didn't run the application yet. Let's have a look. Again, takes a little bit of time because it's remote. Okay, so there's nothing there. Now, I'm going to close it. I'm going to run the application now. Okay, so I'm going to prove that this data is coming from outside. I'm going to go /admin, and I'm going to log in here. So this particular project, it uses another identity seed data because we are creating roles here as well. So I'm just going to get the name of the user. So it's John and Paul. So I'm going to rename Kayak with a Kayak Azure. I'm going to save this. Now let's have a look at our table, product table live. View data. So you see, we have Azure here. Let's look at our table local. So we just make sure that we are really using the live one. This comes up, not identity, sorry. Sports store, tables, product here, view data, and as you can see, Kayak local. So again, we are really accessing the live data. Now, who can tell me what is left here?
Deploying the actual application.
To deploy the actual application. We have the database there. We try to run, it runs against that database, but the application is still running in my environment. I want it to run from Azure. I want to have a live URL that I can give to anyone here, and you can access that. How do we do that? Well, I'm going to just close everything here to give us a little bit more space. I'm going to go and right-click on Sports Store. I'm going to right-click, and I'm going to say Publish. So again, right-click the project up there, then go to Publish. You're going to have to use the same accounts that you are using in Azure. You're going to have to log in to this page, to this screen here. In my case, because I have already logged in, it's not asking me again. But in your case, this will ask you to log in first. So make sure that you use the same accounts that you are using to log in to Azure. Okay? So, given that you have been able to log in, here we're going to create a new Azure App Service. It's another service of the many services in Azure that you're going to be using. We're going to be deploying our application there. We're going to be using an Azure App Service. Keep Create New selected and click Publish. We're going to have to set a few things here. Actually, this is where the account comes to play. So this is my account, the same one that I'm using in Azure. App name, this becomes part of the URL. Whatever you come up with will become the first part of your URL. It will be something like this name dot Microsoft dot. You're gonna see. You're gonna see in a second. But I'm just gonna change this a little bit here, and I'm gonna say sec006. Okay, so Sports Store -sec006. Subscription free trial. Resource group, the one that you have created. You don't have to create a new one. You have created this already in the previous step in Azure itself. Hosting plan, leave it like that. Leave it whatever name it may give to you. By the way, Manal, you brought a good point. If you create a brand new account on Azure, it may ask you for a credit card information to validate your account, okay? So you're not going to be charged, but for you to be able to use it, you're going to have to validate your account via your credit card information, okay? Now, what I also recommend is that once you are done with the class, 2 days later, 3 days later, remember to go back to Azure and clean everything up. Delete all services, delete everything that you have created, just to make sure that there will be no chances that you're going to be charged something in the future. Now, I'll also tell you this. Maybe you want to leave it there, because you might want to show that to somebody out there, to somebody else, maybe during a job interview, doing something. So I'm usually not too much concerned about that. I'll give an example. I have some things with AWS, which is the Amazon version of, the competitor of Azure, and I get charged $2, $1.50 a month for whatever I'm doing there. So again, even if you are being charged, it's very, very minimal. Of course, if there's not much traffic there. So again, you may or may not want to keep it. I'll leave it to your discretion. It's up to you. If you have plans to use that link live, you may want to keep it, okay? But be mindful and keep a close look. Anyway, hosting plan here, application insights, keep it to none, that's fine. And once this is done, click create. It will take a little bit of time, and it may or may not work. Sometimes I've seen some students with problems here that they had to deploy this many times to make it work. I'm going to click there and let it do its magic. Again, this was the step that took the most time of the whole thing based on my experience. By the way, this particular step, you can do from within the wireless network, because this is not about SQL anymore. This is about deploying files. So actually, I should be doing this from the wireless, because it's it's sending a lot of data through my phone right now. I can feel the data going there. Yep.
It's open now, but I don't know. I start like SQL database.
So yeah, so you're gonna click
Add.
plus, and you're gonna add the database.
Free trial.
Yep. Resource group, you're going to create a new resource group. So you're going to create a new resource group, you're going to enter the database, you're going to create a server here as well.
Here I can enter
Any
the
name.
the product and identity, the name of the database.
No, there is just a resource group. You just call it the name of the course, for instance.
Okay.
Okay.
So on the server, I have
Server, you have to create a new server. You have to click on create new. It will open up here, and then you have to set up a name, user, passwords. Okay? Okay, so it's deploying. You see the output window here? It's showing that it's deploying, publishing started. And at the end of the process, it will launch the browser with our URL. Okay, so you see the URL? That's the development URL. You can use that to access the website. Let's see if it will load sometimes. Again, I saw problems with that before. Okay, but it came up. So again, give it a try. See if you can load it. I'm going to put on Padlet the address, and you should all be able to load that one. This is the one that I just published. Okay. So you see Kayak Azure. So it's accessing the live site. And again, now you should be able to access the site as well. So it's running live, fully live. So we have gone through that. We saw the tables. We fixed that one. We ran. We updated. We created and populated the database. We published. We created a new app service. Again, all the steps are laid out here as well. We put it a name. And I think that we skipped this. We didn't see the output here. Yeah, so in the end, you get the screen and you have the URL here. So again, you can use this now or click there, and that's it. That's your live URL. Anytime you make a change to your application, you can just click on the project, go to publish again, and now you no longer have to go through the entire process. You can just hit publish, and it will publish any changes you may have done. Let's do a minor change here. Let's say that sports store, let's change this name a little bit here. So let's say, let's go to the views, to the shared ones, to the layout. And let's say that this is sports store, sec006. I made a change. I'm going to republish this. So I'm going to go to the project, right-click, publish, and then click the publish button. It will redeploy the application with the change. So succeeded. If we go back there, and actually I changed in the title here. So here it is. The title, the original title without the new title with sec006. Okay? So again, second time to deploy is quite simple. Okay, so we are done here. Now, this is what is worth a 10% bonus 10. Bonus 10, we're going to walk through that on Monday. That's the exercise on Monday. If you want to get started on that right now, feel free, up to you. If you get it done right now, that's fine. Publish your URL on Padlet for the first 4. Let me see what I have here. Okay, a coding magazine. For the first 4 lucky ones, coding magazine. I know that you are looking forward to spend the weekend reading a coding magazine. So again, for the first 4 ones, you can start today. I mean, if I get 4 today, that's fine. Oh, great. I'll give it right away. If we get more on Monday, again, the goal on Monday is to get your bonus 10 done. Bonus 10 is the last bonus, and this is the bonus. Get this down, deploy, and share the URL. Right now, you can share on Padlet. I don't think that I opened the folder yet, but then on Monday, you can share on Centennial via the folder. Today, again, you can get started. If you finish, great. Share on Padlet. With your name, of course, so I know who posted. It's a November edition. You see, it talks about Entity Framework, ASP.NET Core, machine learning. It's a great magazine. By the way, yesterday I had an interview with another guy that works for Google, but this guy is visually impaired. He does not see anything. And he's a coder at Google. Yes. And so the title of the podcast will be Talking Codes or something like that. Because actually he listens to the codes. He cannot read the codes. That's how he troubleshoots. That's how he debugs. What is that? Actually, according to him, after he does know better because he does know another way. He's been blind since 2 years old. But what he told me is that he can, according to what I read, a regular conversation, we exchange about 150 words per minute. According to him, he can listen to up to 700 words per minute. So again, he has reading a software that reads the code back to him. And he uses an editor that is able to, let's say you have a method that calls another method. It goes quickly from one to the other one. It has plugins. The editor that he uses has plugins that will identify those things and very quickly is able to navigate through the code for him. So in a way, he has to memorize, to visualize the codes. Yeah, I asked questions about debugging, and it's different. It's hard for us with sight to understand what goes on, Yes.
So when you update the database,
Yep.
just supposed to have all these tables, right?
The first one is for the products one. So scroll down, it's for this one. The second one is for this one here.
Yeah, but I run them through. But
So you run it already? Did you change the environment variables already? This one? No, down. Yeah. Sorry. Up. This one. Did you change that?
Yeah, I did it.
Okay, so refresh here. Maybe it's a refreshing problem. No, not there. Right click here, the product database, not the table, the product database, yeah, refresh there. Now expand tables again. Expand tables. The tables again, yep. Hold there. Because if you didn't get any errors, they must be there.
So
Keep
this is a
it.
different refresher, right?
Yes, keep it there. Keep waiting there.
They will not try to. They will not let you go until you verify.
Also, how do I pull up this little window?
It's the properties. Well, it didn't. So type something. Type $, env, env, column, the 2 dots, one on top of it.
This?
Yes. Go back to the PowerPoints because it's better to copy from there. Scroll down, up. See, you have to copy, not the whole thing, but just this name here, ASP environments. Not the whole, just from, copy that. Delete the equal there. Hit enter. Yeah, so you run there. Okay, okay. Oh, you run this one?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is this other one. So refresh here.
I run
Both of them?
Yeah. Should I run them again?
You can try. See, no migration reply database is already up to date. So refresh here once again. Yeah, go to refresh, expand tables.
Can I run the other?
Yeah, run the other. You see, it's not created. Let me look at you. Look. It's misspelling here. It's dots. App settings dot production. That's the problem. So it's running locally. You can run them again.
I create the resource.
It will. Once it gets finished, yes. We are recording. I'll post tomorrow morning the latest because I know that you need for this. So yeah, I'll post tomorrow morning the latest, okay? Tell me.
Yeah, I make the resource. Now I have to create the database.
So you made the database, don't you, already?
How I can check the
You can check on the database. Go to home. Database, SQL database. Okay, product is created. You may need to create now the identity. Yes. If you are done, publish there. I want to see it. Go ahead.
Can I deploy a different app? Because
A different?
because I'm having connection issues
With
my workstation. Maybe it's because I'm not connected to the Centennial Secure Network.
Got it. So if you can deploy a different app, which app?
Patient registration.
Which one? There?
Patient registration.
Patient registration. But patient registration have database?
No.
That's the easy one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you gonna upload today's video?
Video, yes. Okay, it'll be there. Yes.
Good question. Because for the assignment 2, you said update the recipe list page. From the assignment 2, you have the view recipe. Right?
Yep. If you have the view recipe, you are already loading the recipe from the URL.
Because there are 2 links. It's gotta be redundant, I think. Or
Okay. So view 1, go to view again. Go to the second one. Okay, so it's already loading, correct? Is that loading from the database?
yeah.
Yep. So it seems to be done.
Should I just
Make the name.
Stack?
You don't have. Yeah. You mean make them a link?
These are links already.
Or oh, there are links already. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. No, that's fine. That works. Okay. Oh, good.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Oh. Yep.
Supposed to go underneath the app settings.
That's okay. That's okay if it's showing like this. That's fine. Okay, we have the first winner. I'm gonna give it a try, just in case. Here we have. Woohoo!
That's why you keep it closely, and you only want to clear your cache when you're like so now when you refresh the page, it will like get every single resource. But you have to keep that. That happens to me. Now I would try the other stuff.
So Monday you can try or you can try from home. You can do from home as well. Yep.
Yeah, I know. I forget. Like it's like links are not like style.
Hello. How are you, man?
Good on you.
Oh, good.
Is this week 11 or 12?
This is week 11. End of 11.
Perfect.
All good?
I have a final project for a course and I didn't, it's for week 15.
Yeah.
What's up?
So, if I want to do some SQL queries,
Yep.
what should I do? Like on the server side or on the application?
Okay. So if you want to do some queries, instead of using a framework,
Yeah.
do straight. Again, I would recommend that you follow, even if it's direct SQL queries, recommend that you follow the repository model, the repository pattern. Now, instead of having the EF product repository, you're gonna have, however you want to call it, product repository. And there you're gonna now again, I don't remember which classes you're gonna use with .NET Core, because to be honest, I don't do direct coding, direct SQL with .NET Core. I always use Entity Framework. Yeah, I mean, my question to you is why you need to do that?
Because we had an assignment
Okay.
for database, so then we had to connect the front end and Oracle database.
Oh, it's Oracle. Okay.
Yeah, it's Oracle.
Okay. So
can I use this?
so maybe, and again, what I would recommend is you have a look if you can find. Let's see here. So
I can connect ASP.NET with Oracle, right?
you can. Now, what you should have a look is if you can find, see, because we have here in the startup, let me see here. Yeah, one thing that you may want to look at, let's see here. Let me see options if there is another use. To be quite honest, I have not tried to do anything with Oracle yet at this point, but what you could try is to have the connection string to Oracle. Yes. And I don't know if you're going to have to use another. Let me have a look here. Let me see one thing. So .NET Core, Entity Framework, Oracle. Okay, so data providers, Entity Framework. Let's see what this is. SQL Server, PostgreSQL, Firebird, MySQL. See, there seems to be something about Oracle. So yeah, so I'll just post this on Padlet. Again, to be quite honest, I have never tried, but see, it seems that they have a library already here. Okay. Now you're gonna have to add this there because what we are using SQL Server.
Microsoft.
We use this one here, and again for that you're gonna be using something like this Oracle.
So I had to add this library.
Yes. Again, I've never tried. I don't know what are the complications of that, but that's the way to go.
Oh no, but we have to use the SQL queries.
Oh, I see. Oh, so it's part of the.
Part of it, so we had to use
okay.
SQL statements.
That's fine. So here's what you could do. So .NET Core, ADO, and then Oracle. So yeah. So what you could do, you could use ADO. ADO is another. It's a long-running library from .NET, even from over 15 years ago. So you can actually do direct queries with that library. So see how to create a .NET Core application. Okay, so again, if you need to use SQL directly, you will not be using Entity Framework. Okay. So again, I would look at something like this: .NET Core ADO. You're gonna see ADO usually spelled like this, and see how it goes. Okay, that's my recommendation.
And we are writing the queries in repository, right?
Yes, the repository, instead of using the .products, you're gonna have to select there.
Yeah, because now we are using the SQL queries in the database.
Actually, here's the thing: Entity Framework is the one writing the SQL queries for us behind the scenes. Well, it's doing that in the application and sending that to the database.
That queries.
Yeah, but again, it's Entity Framework doing that. We don't see that.
Entity Framework is sending the results or the query?
The query. It is getting back the results.
Okay.
But again, it's transparent for us. It hides that complexity from us. It does that behind the scenes. We don't care about yes. Okay? Good luck there.
You can expect the same question from most of us. Like everyone is.
I've heard that. I heard that question a bit. Yes.
I didn't do the class after. You mind if I just hang over?
That's fine. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you about the pilot test. Is it multiple choice or?
Yeah, multiple choice.
Oh.
There are two questions that are not multiple choice. They are a little bit code related, but not very intensive. It's very I mean, you not even need Visual Studio to do that. But there will be 2 questions that are a little bit code involved, but no upload. There is nothing to be uploaded. It's a multiple choice within Centennial, and again, 2 open questions.
Okay, so we have to go back to the slides, you mean?
Well, everything it's open book. You can access anything you want.
It is open.
It is open book. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem. Okay. Have a good weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Okay.